for snowmobile trail grooming. And today we're joined by Jody Olson and Delisle Pankratz. And Jody, you're president of the Path Blazers Snowmobile Grooming Club, is that correct?
Yes, the Hibbing Chisholm Path Blazers Snowmobile Club.
So you groom on then the west end of the Iron Range?
Basically from about 25 miles south of Hibbing to the Side Lake area, which is about 30 miles north of Hibbing.
Okay, and as we all know, we've got about 2,000 miles of snowmobile trails on the Iron Range and in northeastern Minnesota. About how many of those miles do the Path Blazers groom?
We take care of somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80 miles, maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
Okay, and today, as I mentioned earlier, you've got an expo going on out here at Giants Ridge, and I see a lot of equipment out here. What vendors are out here today with your equipment?
We have quite a few. We have Tucker Snowcat, Piston Bully Groomers, New Holland Tractors, Kubota Tractors, and then we've got 4 or 5 different drag manufacturers: Trailmaster, Arrowhead, Snowboss, Mogul Master. I believe that's it for the drags.
And so these vendors, they bring the equipment out here and they let you and your club, your volunteers, volunteer groomers test out the equipment?
Yes, actually it's for the entire region, or all of Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. Anybody who's interested in this equipment, you running it or purchasing it, can come on out and try the stuff out.
Okay, and Delisle, I understand you got into snowmobile grooming back in the 70s, is that correct?
That is correct.
So you're probably one of the more veteran people here in northeastern Minnesota. I bet you know these trails like the back of your hand.
I built most of the trails. I built a lot of trails I was involved in. I was involved in probably in one manner or another in the 2,000 miles that we have here in northeastern Minnesota.
And did you start out at the trails around Giants Ridge?
The trail leading into Giants Ridge, the Laurentian Trail, comes from north of Virginia, crossed over to Giants Ridge. That is the first trail that I built.
Wow, and snowmobilers are still enjoying that trail today then?
Probably one of the, I hate to say this, but probably one of the better trails in the area. Probably not necessarily the best anymore, but it is one of the better trails.
And this year, with all this snow that Minnesota has received, I imagine snowmobile business has been pretty good this winter.
You know, statewide, we really need the snowmobilers. Statewide, they had good snow throughout the state, probably even better so than what we've had up here. But that is important because that's what generates our tourism business up here. It's the other area of snowmobilers.
And I know I was talking to our food and beverage manager here last week, Greg Smith at Giants Ridge, and he said he's seen a lot of snowmobile traffic this year in the bar and grill and our ski chalet here. So I think everybody's been benefiting from this snow.
Well, it is. It does. And that state, like I said, this year is statewide. Typically it's not statewide, but that's what we need. We need the strong snowmobile base throughout the state for success in terms of tourism up here.
And Jody, about how many volunteers do you have in the Path Blazers?
Our club has 60 families that roughly, give or take a couple, and not everybody can help out with with family life, but we have 60 families in our club roughly, and we have probably a dozen people that really are the core volunteers of our club. We have 5 people that volunteer groom the trails. We have 2 grooming tractors in the Hibbing Chisholm Path Blazers Club.
Okay.
And there's 5 guys that volunteer all their hours to go out and groom all our trails, and we're grooming typically 5 days a week.
And so that's a big commitment. That's really impressive that those volunteers would give their time to groom these trails. I'm sure they're snowmobilers themselves, but really we all benefit, and all the tourists visiting this area benefit from their volunteer time.
Oh, most assuredly. Without the volunteers like our club has and many other clubs have, this sport and the tourism dollars would not be possible in this area.
It's really impressive, and hats off and thanks to all those volunteers.
I thank them as well.
And so is this the second year this expo has been out at Giants Ridge?
Yes.
And how do you like the venue site here?
I think the venue here is very conducive to the type of show we're trying to put on. We've got GIA trails running right through the facility. We have access to a ski hill if people want to see how a machine would possibly be able to climb a hill. Maybe in their area they have a very hilly terrain. Well, at Giants Ridge here, we have that opportunity to try it on a ski hill, and pretty much there's no trail hill that's going to be as steep as the ski hills here.
The Grant Hay Trail, as Jody referred to as GIA Trail, the basis for that trail and the success of that trail lies with the long-term commitment of volunteers to the development and the cause of snowmobiling. So it's been around for a long time, started in the early 70s and has continued up until present day, and it will continue. The volunteering has changed a little bit, like the Path Blazers. An important component of the Path Blazers is the Youth Snowmobile Safety Program, which is very important for the sport. It trains young people 12 years and older to become a permitted snowmobiler and use the public trail system.
Well, we're so glad to have you out here at Giants Ridge today, and I understand we're going to get to go in a ride in one of these piston bullies out here. I think it's right behind you. I'm going to scan the camera right behind you here. Is this the machine we're going to take a ride in today?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Well, Jody and Delisle, thanks for talking to us, and thanks for holding your expo today out here at Giants Ridge, and thank you to you and all the volunteers who groomed the trails on the Iron Range.
We'd like to thank you,
yes.
And we plan on being here next year again, so see you next year about this time.
Yep.
Okay, see you next year.
Thanks for having us, and thank you to all the volunteers.
Thank you.